Shocking twist, Zhang Linghe Zhao Jinmai's agency finally confirms everything. What truth could possibly shake fans, silence rumors, and send the entire entertainment world into a frenzy? The air is thick with speculation. Tension rises with every headline. And now the moment of revelation has arrived. Join Red Carpet Revealed as we dive into the stunning announcement and uncover the story behind it all, right now. The anticipation had been building for months. The entertainment world was suffocating under the weight of speculation. Zhang Linghe Zhao Jinmai had become the center of countless rumors, with whispers circling every corner of social media. And yet their agency had remained stubbornly silent. It was the silence that made everything unbearable. A deafening quiet that fans could not interpret. Every photograph, accidental encounter, every vague comment was dissected into pieces, rearranged into elaborate theories, and magnified until it became impossible to separate truth from illusion. And then, at last, the silence broke. Agency stepped forward with a press announcement that shattered illusions, confirmed suspicions, and rewrote the story everyone thought they knew. The night of the announcement was chaotic even before the press conference began. Reporters gathered outside the venue like soldiers preparing for war. Microphones raised like weapons. Cameras flashing with relentless energy. Fans stood shoulder to shoulder, holding signs and phones, eager to capture even the smallest gesture. The stage was modest compared to the drama it promised. The air was thick with tension. A tension so palpable that it felt like the walls themselves were holding their breath. For years, Zhang Linghe had been known as a rising star. His performances captivating audiences with their quiet intensity and vulnerability. He carried with him a reputation for mystery. A young man who revealed little of his private world. Zhao Jinmai, on the other hand, embodied elegance and boldness. A performer whose charm was equal parts radiant and grounded. Together, their names had been whispered in unison. Linked by fans who saw chemistry in their collaborations and by bloggers who sensed that something more was hidden beneath carefully crafted appearances. Rumors began innocently enough, a candid photo of them leaving the same studio. A suspiciously timed post on social media. An interview answer that seemed to hint at a deeper connection. Yet as months passed, the murmurs grew louder. Fed by paparazzi shots, anonymous claims, and the insatiable hunger of the internet. Fan communities transformed into investigative units, poring over details with obsessive precision. Look at how his gaze follows her. Fan account claimed, attaching a blurry photo with circles and arrows drawn like a conspiracy board. She's wearing the same jacket he wore last week. Another declared triumphantly. Whether fueled by fact or fantasy, the narrative expanded until it became impossible to escape. The agency's refusal to comment only poured gasoline on the fire. Every no comment was interpreted as confirmation. Every silence was seen as strategy. Journalists speculated endlessly, was the agency protecting a secret romance? Or were they waiting for the perfect moment to turn rumor into revelation? Fans oscillated between hope and frustration, caught in a limbo where truth was just out of reach. And then, without warning, the agency announced a press conference. The words alone sent shockwaves through the fandom. Threads erupted online. Hashtags trended within minutes. And fans debated feverishly. They're finally going to admit it, some shouted with glee. It's just damage control, others warned. Uncertainty only heightened the drama. And by the time the day of the announcement arrived, the world was watching. The press conference was a spectacle of calculated drama. A single podium stood at the center of the stage, flanked by the agency's logo and stark white walls that reflected the flashes of cameras. When the spokesperson emerged, the room erupted in chaos. Reporters shouted questions before a word was spoken, their desperation to be heard overriding any sense of decorum. Fans outside screamed chants that echoed through the hall, while security struggled to maintain order. The spokesperson, composed yet visibly aware of the storm, raised a hand for silence. And then the words came. Words that would be replayed in headlines, retweeted into eternity, and dissected by millions. Today, we are here to confirm what many of you have speculated for so long. Zhang Linghe Zhao Jinmai share a bond that goes beyond the screen. We acknowledge and support them fully. The silence that followed was deafening, but only for a second. Then the room exploded. Cheers, gasps, questions. The sound of fingers typing furiously on laptops as the news went live. Outside, fans wept openly, clutching their phones to their chests. their screens glowing with breaking headlines. The confirmation spread like wildfire. On Weibo, hashtags such as Zhang Linghe Zhao Jinmai confirmed and agency announcements shock surged to the top of trending lists. Posts poured in by the millions. "I knew it all along," one fan crowed. "This is the happiest day of my life," others were less celebratory. "So it was true? I feel betrayed," one disillusioned supporter wrote. Skeptics chimed in, "This is just PR, don't be fooled." But regardless of opinion, no one could deny the impact. The announcement had shaken the foundations of fandom, rewriting narratives that had been whispered in the shadows for too long. Twitter, or X as it was now branded, joined the frenzy. Short video clips of the announcement spread rapidly, with dramatic music and captions like "The truth finally revealed." Within hours, the footage had been viewed millions of times, sparking debates across languages and continents. TikTok creators reacted in real time, filming their tears, their laughter, their outrage, their disbelief. Memes proliferated at lightning speed, cartoon versions of the couple, exaggerated reaction GIFs, parody press conferences featuring stuffed animals. Instagram's role was to romanticize. Fan edits transformed photographs into dreamy collages, accompanied by captions like "They were written in the stars" and "The love we always believed in is real." Editorial accounts praised the poise of both actors, highlighting the elegance of how the agency framed the confirmation. Yet even on Instagram, where aesthetics often reign supreme, darker notes crept in. Comment sections became battlegrounds where joy clashed with cynicism, hope with suspicion. The days that followed were a blur of frenzy. Media outlets scrambled to produce think pieces, interviews, and retrospectives. Entertainment programs aired hour-long specials dedicated solely to the couple, analyzing everything from their on-screen chemistry to their past social media activity. Psychologists were invited onto talk shows to discuss the psychology of fandom obsession, while fashion critics speculated how the confirmation would influence brand endorsements. For Zhang Linghe, the confirmation was both liberation and burden. No longer would he live under the weight of speculation, but neither could he escape the relentless gaze that followed him now. Every appearance, every gesture, every smile would be interpreted as a message about his relationship. For Zhao Jinmai, the pressure was equally intense. Admired for her independence and strength, she now found herself redefined by her association. Individuality threatened by the narrative of the couple. Yet amid the storm, there was also an undeniable power. Together, they had become something larger than themselves, a symbol, a story, a phenomenon. Their gaze, their bond was no longer just theirs. It belonged to the world. And the world was not ready to let go. The announcement was supposed to end the rumors, but in many ways, it only deepened the fascination. The press conference replayed across every screen. Articles flooded timelines and debates raged in comment sections. The aftermath proved to be just as dramatic as the revelation itself. The confirmation became more than a statement of fact, it was a cultural moment. A prism through which people began to project their hopes, doubts, and fears. It was no longer just about Zhang Linghe and Zhao Jinmai, it was about what they represented in a world hungry for authenticity and spectacle. Within the entertainment industry, actions arrived with startling speed. Fellow actors, directors, and producers weighed in. Some with heartfelt congratulations, others with cryptic remarks that only added fuel to speculation. A veteran actress posted on Weibo, "Love is brave. Respect to those who choose honesty." Comment was shared tens of thousands of times, fans interpreting it as subtle support for the couple. Meanwhile, a director who had once worked with Zhao Jinmai wrote, "Timing is everything in this industry." His words ignited heated arguments. Was he implying that the announcement was strategically planned? Fashion houses were quick to respond. Linghe had long been a muse for luxury brands, while Zhao Jinmai was no stranger to front-row seats at fashion weeks. Now, brands saw the potential for collaboration that extended beyond individual endorsements. Two stars, one narrative. Possibilities. One marketing executive was quoted as saying, "Within days, rumors surfaced of a joint campaign featuring both actors, capitalizing on their newfound status as an undeniable pair." Some critics accused brands of exploiting the moment, but others argued it was inevitable in an industry where image is currency. The press, unsurprisingly, dug deeper. Tabloids trawled through archives, republishing old photographs and interviews with new interpretations. candid shot of the two laughing at an award ceremony resurfaced with a caption, "Was this the moment we should have known?" Clips of behind-the-scenes banter were reframed as evidence of a romance hiding in plain sight. Even their body language during unrelated events was scrutinized, slowed down, and dissected as though every flicker of a smile held profound meaning. For fans, the aftermath was dizzying. Celebrated with unbridled joy, flooding social media with declarations of loyalty and love. "This is the couple we've been waiting for," one trending post declared, accompanied by a collage of the two stars. Fan clubs organized virtual parties, complete with themed hashtags and digital banners. Yet not all fans were pleased. Some felt betrayed, arguing that their idols had deceived them by maintaining secrecy for so long. A particularly vocal group even announced their withdrawal of support, posting farewell messages that carried the tone of heartbreak. Fandom fractured. But in that fracture lay even more drama, fueling the cycle of attention. Beyond fandom, cultural commentators took notice. In Asia, where celebrity relationships are often hidden or downplayed to preserve fan fantasy, such an open confirmation felt revolutionary. It appeared in cultural journals, describing the announcement as a turning point in the industry's relationship with transparency. The agency's move is radical, one critic wrote. It challenges the long-standing belief that stars must remain untouchable and unattached to retain value. It acknowledges them as human. Western media, meanwhile, contextualized the event within a broader narrative of global celebrity culture. Headlines compared it to iconic Hollywood revelations. How the story had managed to dominate even in markets far from its origin. The couple themselves remained largely silent, appearing together sparingly, careful not to overexpose the narrative. When they did appear, however, the attention was overwhelming. A simple hand-holding moment outside a restaurant made international headlines. A joint photoshoot for a magazine cover broke sales records within hours. Their presence together seemed to electrify audiences. Living embodiment of the story that had captivated millions. The glamour, the weight of expectation grew heavier. For Zhang Linghe, the pressure to balance professional craft with personal revelation intensified. His next project announcement was overshadowed by questions about how Zhao Jinmai might be involved, even when the script bore no relation to her. Journalists asked probing questions about their dynamic, ignoring his work in favor of personal curiosity. For Zhao Jinmai, the scrutiny was equally relentless. The outfit was interpreted as a message, every smile analyzed for hidden meaning. The demand for transparency had become a cage, one they both had to navigate with delicate precision. The cultural impact extended far beyond entertainment. University courses on media studies included the event as a case study, examining the intersection of celebrity, fandom, and corporate strategy. Online communities produced long-form analyses, treating the confirmation as if it were a historical document to be archived and remembered. Even political commentators drew parallels, suggesting that the agency's handling of the revelation was a lesson in crisis management and public relations strategy. Brands adjusted their strategies too. Suddenly, endorsements involving either star carried added weight, as the association inevitably extended to both. A skincare campaign featuring Zhao Jinmai saw sales skyrocket, not just because of her influence but because fans framed it as their brand. Similarly, a tech company that signed Zhang Linghe found its products trending under hashtags linking him to her. Marketers marveled at the phenomenon, a relationship that doubled commercial power while simultaneously humanizing the stars in the eyes of consumers. Meanwhile, critics remained divided. Some argued that the announcement was a carefully calculated PR stunt, timed to maximize attention during a lull in the entertainment calendar. Others insisted that the raw emotion visible during the press conference could not have been fabricated. The debate itself became part of the spectacle, ensuring the story remained alive long after its initial shock had faded. What did it mean for the stars themselves? That was the question no one could answer. Were they relieved to finally live openly? Were they suffocating under the relentless attention? Did they see the confirmation as a victory, or as the loss of privacy that could never be regained? In rare interviews, both spoke cautiously, offering words that seemed crafted to satisfy curiosity without surrendering intimacy. "We're grateful for the support," Linghe said in one interview. Zhao Jinmai added, "We hope people will continue to see us as professionals, as individuals, not just as part of a headline." Yet the truth was that they had become something larger than professionals or individuals. They had become symbols of love, of risk, of spectacle in an age where private lives are consumed as public entertainment. The kiss, the gaze, the confirmation, all of it was more than a moment. It was a mirror held up to society, reflecting the hunger for authenticity in a world where performance and reality are indistinguishable. As weeks turned into months, the frenzy slowly quieted. But the story never truly faded. It became a legend within fandoms, a reference point in cultural discourse, a benchmark for how agencies might handle revelations in the future. Long after the hashtags stopped trending, the phrase shocking twist remained synonymous with Zhang Linghe and Zhao Jinmai. It was a chapter that would follow them for the rest of their careers, shaping their image, their opportunities, and the way audiences perceived them. And perhaps that is the ultimate irony. Agency's confirmation was meant to end speculation, but in reality, it transformed rumor into myth, sealing the couple in a narrative that no amount of silence or denial could undo. Whether seen as truth or strategy, revelation had changed everything, not only for Zhang Linghe and Zhao Jinmai, but for the culture that demanded the story, consumed it, and kept it alive. In the end, the shocking twist was not just the confirmation itself. It was the realization that stories like these are never fully owned by the people who live them. Once revealed, they belong to the world, fans who celebrate, to critics who analyze, and to a culture that thrives on the intersection of truth and performance. The uproar may quiet, the legend endures. And for Zhang Linghe and Zhao Jinmai, journey from rumor to confirmation will remain one of the most unforgettable stories of their time. In the whirlwind of speculation, silence, and revelation, the confirmation from Zhang Linghe and Zhao Jinmai's agency became more than just a press statement. It was a cultural earthquake that blurred the lines between truth and spectacle, intimacy and performance, privacy and publicity. Began as whispers grew into a storm that no one could ignore. And when the truth was finally unveiled, left fans, critics, and the industry forever changed. This was not just about two stars, it was about the world watching them, interpreting them, and shaping them into symbols far greater than themselves. The story reminds us that in an age of endless connectivity, the most powerful moments are often the ones that break free from the script, forcing us to confront the raw humanity behind the glitter of fame. To every reader, fan, and critic who followed this journey, thank you. Passion, your voices, and your relentless curiosity are what keep stories like these alive long after the cameras have stopped flashing. Without you, the dreamers, the skeptics, there would be no uproar, no legend, no enduring memory. The stage made him, but the echoes remain. It is our gratitude